Us depends on the messenger. Jim Acosta, CBS News, Brooklyn.
Tonight, two more high-profile messengers will speak at the Republican convention. California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger will attempt to reach out to moderate Republicans and independent voters. First Lady Laura Bush will end the evening speaking about the compassion of the American people. That's the CBS Morning News for this Tuesday. Thanks for being here with us, and we hope you join us later for the early show. I'm Melissa McDermott. Have a great day.
For news 24 hours a day, log on to cbsnews.com. CBS News.
Coming up, an in-depth emotional interview with Laura Bush. Hear what the First Lady has to say on the eve of her husband's presidential nomination and see why more people are watching The Early Show.
4 years ago, he promised to be a uniter, not a divider. So how's the president done? We'll look at his record and give you the inside story tonight on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
A special live performance by Carlos Santana on the Latin Grammys Wednesday on CBS.
Watch the Fantasy 5 drawing weeknights on CBS 4 News at 11, your lottery station.
Now, live, this is CBS 4 News This Morning.
And good morning, South Florida. I'm Susan Barnett.
And I'm Jade Alexander in for Danielle Knox. Here's a look at what's making news. The latest advisory on Hurricane Frances has just come out, and hurricane watches are up in the Bahamas. Your weather station has the latest.
Here in South Florida, residents are already stocking up on supplies in the event of a storm.
This as people remember Hurricane Andrew all too well, boarding up their homes. We've got live team coverage.
10 years after the disappearance of a South Florida college student, a suspect is finally indicted.
Campaign 2004 is in full swing in South Florida as voters head to the polls for the state's primary election.
And we will have a wrap-up of day one of the Republican National Convention.
It is 5 a.m. Tuesday, August 31st. Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome, Jade.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. And the latest advisory on Hurricane Frances has just come in. We have live team coverage of Hurricane Frances, starting with CBS 4 meteorologist Bob Soper. Bob.
Good morning. Yeah, right now Frances is very close to Puerto Rico. The fortunate thing is it's to the north of Puerto Rico, and so we'll keep an eye on that part of the world as we are watching Hurricane Frances trucking right across the Atlantic Ocean. Now the Caribbean is down here south of the islands. This is the Atlantic, north of Puerto Rico, and there's the eye right now, and it's continuing to move generally in a west-northwesterly direction. And you can see there's the Bahamas and Haiti, the Dominican Republic, and the northern part of the Virgin Islands. They're moving right across just north of the Leeward Islands, and again you can see that good tropical formation there. A hurricane is definitely underway. It's got some strong winds. Now here's where it's been going, and here's where the computer track makes it want to go. Now that's one of many popular possible tracks, and we're going to show you the cone of uncertainty in just a second, but that's the past 12 hours, and then it extends it on out. Okay, now tropical storm warning is in effect for the northern part of the Leeward Islands, still stretching over to Puerto Rico, and that includes the Virgin Islands, but St. Croix and the vicinity around that is in a tropical storm watch, and then stretching over to the northern coastline of the Dominican Republic. And they've got a tropical storm watch as well, and just issued a hurricane watch for the southeastern Bahamas, Turks and Caicos. So far, nothing in Cuba, nothing in the U.S., too far away for us, but that's where it begins. As of 5 o'clock, 19.9 north, 62.8 west, 125 mile per hour winds. It's a little bit stronger than yesterday morning, not a lot. but it's still a Category 3. Winds moving it west at 14 miles per hour. The pressure has dropped ever so slightly, and it's about 90 miles east-northeast of San Juan, Puerto Rico. That's right in here. So it's to the north of that island, and so they'll get some pretty good waves, but it looks like the worst of it will stay out over the Atlantic Ocean, and hopefully that trend will continue. It looks like it will go north of Haiti and the Dominican Republic tomorrow, Thursday, into Friday, somewhere over the Bahamas, and then the extended risk track, that 5-day, a lot of uncertainty, once you get this far out. After 3 days, it's really a pretty tough decision to make. So that's why this is so far out here, about 300 miles on either side, because the error possibility is as much as 300 miles on either side. So through Sunday, it's a big question mark where this storm will be. So Hurricane Frances is something we really need to keep an eye on along the entire east coast of Florida. And for those of us here in southeastern Florida, it'll become more clear as time goes on this week, but for now you just have to keep aware, and it's good to be prepared, get the water and batteries and all that stuff. All right, so there's Frances. There's the high, still in control, and it actually has strengthened a little bit, so it is continuing to move Frances on that general westward track across the Atlantic. You look at the high spreading out here, it's kind of nice and sturdy, and it's going to continue the movement and allow it to move a little bit to the northwest, west-northwest that is. And in time, we think this jet stream dip may weaken that eastern part or the western part of that ridge of high pressure and allow Frances to move a little bit more to the north and possibly miss southeastern Florida, but it does look like it will move over the Bahamas. Now, on our water vapor imagery over the past 24 hours, you can get a sense of that push of that ridge of high pressure right in there. You can kind of feel for it, and then back up in here, here's that dip in that jet stream starting to move down, and if it gets, depends on how far south does it get, whether it weakens this ridge enough so that the hurricane can bypass South Florida and maybe move up the coast. All right, so that's what we have on Frances. Now, what about everything else in the weather? Here's Pamela Wright.
Hi there, good morning. Definitely feels very tropical out there this morning. Temperatures quite warm, near 80 degrees in most spots out there. What we find, 81 in Homestead, 82 in Miami, Opelika at 80 degrees, so the AC was running all night for sure. Pembroke Pines at 81. All right, an east and southeast breeze coming in today, also bringing in some clouds this morning, so somewhat cloudier day to start out than you had yesterday.